Hey, we're live.
Hey.
How's it going, people of Earth?
Or other places.
All right.
You,
Or I mean, yeah, if you're from Mars or something, I mean, that'd be pretty insane. You're getting a good connection on Mars,
There
but
also could be some like cats and dogs watching us. You know, house pets.
right,
It's
right.
very possible. This is
Very true.
just a little pre-show before we officially begin at 4 p.m. If people would like to tell us how we sound, if anyone's quiet or loud or too nasally. I don't know if we could do anything about
Yes,
that last
please
one,
do.
but
Wow.
uh,
But I'm going to take advantage of the fact that this is the pre-show and run downstairs really quick to grab a drink, and I will be right back.
all right.
I should have done this before, but I didn't.
All right. Well, now that it's just me and you
My
guys,
apologies.
feel free to message how you're feeling about Shadow. Could take him or leave him. This could go into a solo show pretty soon. Uh, that's a joke, of course. Don't tell him I said that. Uh, when is the season 11 review coming? Never. I'm not doing a season 11 review. Have I played The Last of Us 2? No, and I did not play The Last of Us 1. Not really my jam. Shadow probably did though.
I have returned.
Hey, have you played The Last of Us 2 and or 1?
Uh, I actually got The Last of Us remastered from PS Plus back in, I think it was November. I haven't played it yet, though.
Hmm.
I've been meaning to, but I haven't. And I don't know anything about Last of Us 2 because I've been trying to stay away from it as much as possible in case I do get into the first game, and I don't want to be spoiled on anything from the first game or the second one. So,
What are your overall thoughts on the Harley Quinn animated series? Well, you know,
it's funny you asked that question.
stick around a few more episodes of Stream Soda and we'll tell you. uh, how does it feel to drown in soda constantly? Well, uh,
I need to practice my drowning impression.
well, as it turns out, Shadow and I don't need to breathe. Neither of us have noses. I know it might look like
true.
I have a nose, but that's actually just like a scar. So,
Oh, man. That's an unfortunate place to have a scar, like dead center of your face.
uh, no offense, but I'm getting kind of sick of the Holo Axis stuff. Okay, you can not hear it then, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. What are we gonna do for the 10th episode special? Oh God, we haven't thought about that, have we?
No, we have not planned any milestone ones
Yeah, I
yet.
don't know. What would be interesting for? I don't know. Maybe something big. Maybe like the Mandalorian or something. I don't know. Maybe every 10th
Yeah, we
every 10th
could.
episode we could cover like a really really big hit, even if it's not really topical or anything. Um.
Mhm.
All right. So you ready to start the show there?
But it's not 4 o'clock yet. We got like 10 more
Okay.
seconds.
Um. Okay. Well,
It's the rule.
we'll just
It's the rule. We can't start until it hits 4
we'll just sit
o'clock.
here and. Hey guys, Pie Guy Rules here, and
Our,
welcome to Stream Soda.
wow, man, on the dot. I'm impressed. Good job.
Welcome, 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 Shadow.
Oh, thank you. Welcome, Pi.
uh, so this week on Stream Soda, we are going to be talking about both seasons of Kipo and the Age of the Wonderbeasts. We watched all 20 episodes this week and am very excited to. That didn't grammar. We are both very excited to talk about the show. Um, we'll probably do like a non-spoiler section first, and then we'll have like a spoiler section that we make very clear. We'll talk a little bit more about the details of the show.
hmm
So, but that's the featured discussion here. We've got quite a bit of news to talk about as well. Although we didn't stream anything this week because watched an entire show.
Yeah, we watched an entire show, and then I also watched almost the entire first season of another show. But that's all I'll say on that.
Oh, interesting.
So, yes, yes.
Okay, so just if you're new to the stream, just so everyone knows, this is our weekly stream that we do 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. happy Father's Day, even on Father's Day holidays, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And Shadow and I get together and we talk a little bit about just some streaming news, just whatever is relevant in the world of streaming services, and there's always something going on. Um, and then we talk about a featured program that is a streaming original show, like Kipo and the Age of the Wonderbeasts, or She-Ra, or I don't know.
Solar opposites.
Yeah.
The best one, obviously.
Yep. And then after we've done all of that, at about like an hour and 20-ish minutes into the show, then we do Q&A. So if you have any questions or like interactions of things that we're talking about, feel free to post them in the chat and we will answer your questions and interact with you and all that. And if you have stuff that's off topic that has nothing to do with what we're currently talking about, feel free to post it during the Q&A section. And similarly, if you have any super chats, which is, we don't expect it, but if anyone wants to do that, the Q&A section would be a lot better to do that. But if you post it at any other time, we'll just make a note of it and then answer it in the Q&A section. So, yep.
Also, just as a reminder, there is a section for Stream Soda in my Discord server. There's a link to it in the description of the stream. You can feel free to join at any time, and that is actually where we post or read your posts regarding some questions during the Q&A section as well as you can make suggestions about future episodes, which I know a lot of people have done, and we've definitely taken note of that. So feel free to check out the server if you are interested.
Yeah. And I have something to plug. This Thursday at 4 p.m. EST, same time as this stream, but on Thursday, I will be streaming Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated with Chugga Conroy over on my Pie Guy Plays channel. So keep a lookout for that.
Celebrate.
Yep, I'll be posting links and everything on Twitter, all throughout the week. So feel free to mark that down in your calendar. Should be a lot of fun. I'm not sure when I'm going to be playing the rest of the game, like when the other parts are, but Chugga and I will be doing the multiplayer mode. We'll be giving it a shot, and then I'll be playing the single player mode, and it should be fun. So,
yeah, I guess I can also plug that I'm also going to be doing a playthrough of the game on my channel. Although, my gaming channel, which is shared with my girlfriend Swearing Taylor, she's going to be playing it, but I'm going to be commentating on it. So if you're also interested in my perspective on the game, you can watch that. I also made a video on the original game, like not this past Friday, but a week ago. So check that out too, because that's actually a video I'm very proud of.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. We're both fans of a great game. So
yep. My only hopes are just that they don't screw it up. Honestly, I don't really have any hopes.
That's all I can hope
for adding things. I mean, it'd be cool if they add stuff, but I think the game itself is just fun on its own, to the point where just being able to play it on a modern console and giving it like maybe a little bit of polish, fixing some of the bugs and stuff, I'm happy with that. I see it as just kind of an up port, to be honest. I know it's like branded as a remake or whatever. So yeah, as long as they don't fundamentally mess it up, and trust me, there are ways to do that. If you mess with the physics on a 3D platformer, you could very easily make the entire game much less fun. So,
yeah. From what I've researched, I'm fairly confident that the base game isn't going to be adding anything different. Like it's just updated textures and character models, and the physics are. From what I've seen, they are a little different. I just hope they're not like outstandingly different that it's annoying. But most of the added content is in the multiplayer section, like Robo Squidward, for example. He's not showing up in the main game from what I'm aware of. He's like multiplayer exclusive.
It doesn't look like they really touch much of anything in the main.
Not from what I've seen. I mean, the good news is you can actually see in Kelp Forest now, so I'm at least grateful for that. But
according to Cartoon Post, there's way more bugs in Rehydrated than the original. Is it out? Did it come out yet? Did it come out today?
No, it comes out on the 23rd.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure reviewers have had copies. But when it comes to bugs and stuff, I don't know. You never know. Day one patches are a big thing. So I'm not like saying, hey, let's not call the bugs out, because surely they'll be fixed. I'm just saying that like until I get my hands on the game and get my experience with how buggy or non-buggy or whatever it is, I don't know. I'm gonna wait for that experience before I'm definitely getting the game either way because I'm streaming it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, as we mentioned, we don't have anything that we streamed in the past week that we really can talk about. Shadow did stream some stuff for an upcoming episode. And I had not seen anything of Kipo up until this point, so I watched the entire series this week. And was busy working on Butch Hartman videos and other such stuff. So I didn't really get a chance to to watch anything else. So we're gonna move along to the news section, and speaking of good old Butchie boy, we have an O-Axis update this week. So I made a video on it, on not even really O-Axis, on just more of Butch Hartman and just some wonderful things that he's done lately. And it's gotten really good feedback. I'm really proud of it, and I'm just I don't know, just hoping that at some point enough people will realize that like he's scummy, shouldn't work with him, shouldn't look up to him. So Yep. So there's that. Check out the video. The long and short of it, we talked about this before. But he refused to pay Kuro and cut all communications with Kuro, even though he was working with Kuro on Imaginathan. And didn't pay him the $1,400 that he owes Kuro, as well as the fact that the Hartmans are big into faith healing and believe that you can cure autism and fibromyalgia and MS and cancer and heart and kidney failure. They believe enough that God, and not just God, but them too, can have some part in healing this without doctors. It's kind of nutty stuff, but there is an actual like piece of information about O-Axis that I didn't mention in the video. Someone brought it to my attention after, that apparently on his website, his what is it? It's like Vision Possible website, his thing where you can pay him like $6,000 to get a phone call with him. Apparently it says that O-Axis is coming in 2021. So
we have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep. So, that's still a long ways away, and he can claim that 2021 goes until December of 2021. So I don't think that's a promise that O-Axis is actually coming, but he is doing these conferences, trying to make your vision a reality, and he's using O-Axis as the vision that he is bringing to reality as the benchmark for it. So it is kind of questionable if he's doing all of these weird scammy seminars to try to raise more money for O-Axis, because O-Axis is kind of out of money. It's that might be why he's doing this stuff. Or he might just, O-Axis might never exist, and it's just yet another get rich quick scheme from a guy who's allegedly already really rich. So
yeah, who knows? Yep. Who knows?
Yeah. You know what? I'll go ahead and address this comment. From Lucas. While I liked your latest Butch Hartman video, it was your only video that wasn't this in a month. I'm heavily considering unsubscribing. Thoughts? You can unsubscribe. I've got a life outside of YouTube, and I'm not really dedicating a lot of time to it. If I'm not making the content you want to see, please unsubscribe. It's okay. I don't really know how many times I can say this. There's probably not going to be any more SpongeBob videos. Kind of moving away from reviewing cartoons. I'm planning on talking about this in an upcoming video, but I don't know. I'm kind of tired of seeing comments like this. So, if you want to unsubscribe, do it. You're not going to change my mind about
yeah, you don't have to ask permission.
Yeah, like I'm not and I'm not mad. I'm not like, there's a lot of people that when they get those like I'm unsubscribing comments that take it like personally and are like, well, how dare you? Like, no, I understand the comment and the feedback, and my channel has veered away from talking about cartoons, and that's what a lot of people subscribe for. I understand that, and if I'm not making content you want to see, unsubscribe and don't feel guilty about it.
Simple as that.
Okay. Yeah. So, other streaming news. You want to talk about this first one?
Yeah. So, it came out this past week that apparently there is some type of new comic from DC Comics called it's called To the Max, and it features so it features basically like some guy that's basically based off of HBO Max, but he's a superhero. So like I guess some people that are working at DC Comics decided to make this like really short mini run of everyday. It's like I think the premise is like there are these everyday people named Hector, Brian, and Olivia, HBO.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
and these characters meet Max the dog and gain superpowers like teleportation, flight, and shape shifting. Oh my gosh, it's weird. We were literally looking at the first issue like right before we hopped on this
Yeah.
stream. It is so peculiar.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to
I-
make
it-
of it. But it's like 3 issues, I think. It's really short, just to promote the new streaming service. But it's just so weird. Like, why?
Yeah, it's super strange. I don't think those are going to be the only comics of it, though. I think that's what do they say that they're going to be more like.
So like the article that's the source of this says that the comic consists of 3 8-page chapters written by Ivan Cohen.
Okay.
Featuring Hector, Brian, and Olivia. HBO.
Well, no, it says
That's
it
genius.
says they are teaming up for a brand new free original digital comic series called To the Max, and the comic will feature cover art from a handful of DC creators and a story about ordinary people getting superpowers, with plenty of nods to the content on HBO Max. Like, I think right now it's 3 8-page issues, and then they might
Yeah, it
launch
might be
into an
getting
actual
more.
series of this, which would be even more hilarious.
Mhm.
And it's not even really a parody. Like, I would expect a comic based on a streaming service to just be intentionally as stupid as possible, to be like, I am Netman of the Flix Galaxy. Like, like, I don't know. Just try to make it as stupid as possible, but it's kind of like playing it straight. Like, these are just normal superheroes that just so happen to spell out HBO Max.
Yeah, it's genius.
Oh,
It's
goodness.
brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, check it out if you're interested because it's so weird.
Yeah, very much so. So that's the first thing.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. It's just something.
I mean, it really, like, again, reading it, it gives you it's just kind of unremarkable comic writing. Like, it's not so bad it's good or so bad it's interesting. It's just like, you wouldn't even know it's tied to HBO Max unless it was on the cover, and it is. So, I think there should be a new Marvel character named Plus, who goes around streaming Disney.
Yeah, someone said Netflix and Disney Plus should be the villains.
Oh gosh, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a mutant mouse is the villain or something. So, okay. Next up, we're gonna get Scoob on HBO Max this week. Like, zoinks!
Hey. Yeah, and it's only been like 3 weeks since it went VOD.
Yeah.
So.
Rest in peace to anyone who has HBO Max and then also paid the $20 to rent it like a month ago. I mean, I get it. They had to release it somehow, and it's cool that it's coming to a platform that like more people are viewing. But do you think that they're doing this because Scoob didn't like do as well? Like, or I don't know. Like,
See, I think this would have been another like. This would have been a good way to maybe promote HBO Max more. If they had, saved Scoop for this as its release, because that would get people to maybe check out HBO Max because they wanted to see this movie. Because, like, Disney Plus with Onward, like, yeah, Onward was in theaters and then they just put it on the service. But most people weren't going to the theater during that time anyways. I mean, there were some people, but it was right on the cusp of the pandemic. So,
yep.
This, I don't know. This felt like we need to make some money now off this film, and then we'll just make it available shortly after, which
yeah, I don't
know.
think this would have happened without the pandemic. I mean, I think Scoob would have eventually come to HBO Max. Like, I don't. It is a fit. They have some Scooby-Doo stuff on there. But I
Mhm.
definitely think that the timetable was moved up because of the pandemic, and they just need content on there. And I mean, why not? I guess like, but I
Mhm.
would feel kind of crummy if I had just a month before paid a lot of money to rent it, and then it just comes for
Yeah.
free to a service. Um,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. But you couldn't really predict it, so it just feels like it was, there's not really anything we could have done.
why
Like,
isn't Camp Lazlo on HBO Max? Because they want you to pay an extra $7 so you subscribe to or $6, something like that, to Boomerang.
Boomerang, yeah.
Yeah, where Camp Lazlo is. Because apparently $15 a month isn't enough for a streaming service. You got to have other services that have like this very similar content.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. The fact that this is on HBO Max, like, I might get around to it, but from what I've heard, it's not what I'm interested in from a Scooby Doo movie. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's cool who the villain is. But other than that, like, I don't know. It's like a contemporary Scooby Doo, which I don't need.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
If you guys would be interested in hearing me or us talk about it, um, since we don't have
yeah,
to pay anything extra for it, it's not something I would want to watch personally. But if you guys would want us to talk about it on the show, it's definitely something that we could do. So,
yeah, I'd say it
yep.
qualifies. So
Also, let us know if you want us to talk about the live action Lady and the Tramp.
no, 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 no. I specifically told you when we did this, Disney live action remakes are out no matter what. I said I'm not doing that ever again. Ever since you made me sit through Jungle Book last year, I'm not. No, I'm not
Oh
doing it.
God,
I'm
or
not doing
Artemis
it. I
Fowl.
refuse.
Oof.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if I'd
oh.
watch Artemis Fowl. um, we'll see.
I've heard a lot of negative things, and I never even knew anything about the books. I had a friend who really liked them, so I should probably ask his
Right.
opinion, but
Um,
I know nothing about it.
Oh, so
So,
Dylan Oliver brings up a good point. This is a piece of news that happened is that Disney Plus is losing its free trial. You will
hmm.
no longer be able to check it out for free for like a week or however long they had it. I think it was a
Hmm.
week. I mean, it makes sense. Like, as long as you're able to see what the content is on there, they really don't need a free trial. Like you know what you're
I
getting.
mean,
Like,
here's the way I see it.
mm,
Okay, if you're using a streaming service, you have internet, so you can just go on the internet and look it up.
well, yeah, well, a lot of services like
So
they
there's
let you go around on the site
right.
and literally look at the content. It's
Hmm.
it's not like watching it's going to be any different from watching it on, a DVD or something. Like really, what you get is what you get with a streaming service. So as long as you know what's on there, um, yeah, Disney doesn't need a free trial. Like,
Yeah, they don't. They don't. I feel like that's just an unnecessary
yeah,
feature.
and
So
I mean, of course, it's better for the consumer if they have a free trial. But like, I don't know. You know what's on there, like.
yeah, yeah. It's Disney movies, Marvel, Star Wars. There you
Yeah,
go.
they've been forthright with it, so it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw some other services getting rid of the free trial. To be
Hmm.
honest, and yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point, Citrus, is that they're getting rid of it right before Hamilton, which is a very big release. That's something that people are very interested in, and if they can get people to
Hmm.
subscribe for a month, especially because the thing with Disney Plus is that it's cheaper than all the rest of the services. You
Right.
know, so like yeah, like I don't know, like spending $7 for a month's worth of content is not it's not the hardest value proposition. Something like HBO Max where it's $15 a month, with
Hmm.
that it's like yeah, they should have a free trial at least. Um, so yep. Toon J brings up kind of a point, just that if you see a show's on there but you don't know what seasons of it, I mean I guess that's true, but like I don't know if you really want to know what's on a streaming service you can look like there are ways to find
Yeah,
out.
you can look it up on the internet. Like, just go on Google. You'll find the
Hmm.
answer.
But that is definitely a feel bad moment if you subscribe to something for something specifically and then found out that it wasn't
Hmm.
on there. That 100%
Right.
is a feels bad moment. So it does make sense.
Hmm.
Um, so okay. Ooh, are you ready for the Snyder cut?
Hey, Zack Snyder posted a very brief sneak peek on Twitter a few days ago, and it's not as exciting as it sounds because it's literally just Wonder Woman looking at a picture and then like a 5 second CG shot of some landscape,
It
and
has
that's
2
it.
million
So like it
views.
doesn't, yeah, and it doesn't tell you anything.
Nope.
Like, it's like, wow, yep, that's Gal Gadot looking at a picture.
uh,
Fascinating. This is what we waited for,
and
guys. This is what we wanted.
regular Justice League has just left the service or is about to leave the service. So, I listen. I personally think the Snyder Cut's going to be a dumpster fire. I think it's going to be as bad, if not worse, than like the regular movie.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it might be like a little better, but even a little better is not great for how bad that movie seems to be. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I personally think it's a lot of DC fans that are getting themselves hyped up for yet another big disappointment. But it's certainly interesting. I feel like if there was any chance the Snyder Cut was going to be better, they would have just released it a while ago and done it or put it on the DVD. Like, I think the
Mm-hmm.
reason they didn't is just because, again, at least not without major retakes and reshoots, which apparently they did do some of for the Snyder Cut. I don't know. I just don't see it going amazingly.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. It's funny. Like, I don't know if you scrolled through all the reactions to his
No.
tweet, but it's like everyone's just so excited and hype. I'm like, guys, it's literally just Gal Gadot looking at a picture for 26 seconds. What is so
That's the thing,
like?
though. People are
I,
getting so hyped up for this, and it's
mm,
like, all right, guys, just keep your expectations lower.
yeah, seriously. Like, I get it's cool that it's
Yeah,
happening at all. Like, we never thought it would, but I don't know. Maybe we should wait to see a little bit more before we just automatically assume it's going to be the greatest thing
yeah,
ever.
yeah. Fair point.
Yeah,
Um,
but I don't know. I hope it's worth talking
mhm.
about. That's all I can hope for is I hope it's worth talking about. I hope it's not just this really underwhelming, boring, bland disappointment. Like if it's going to be this big event, if either be surprisingly, shockingly amazing or so horribly such a horrible train wreck. But like either way, I want it to be big
Yeah.
because this is like unprecedented stuff.
If
So
it is successful, will it become the new canon for the DC universe?
yeah, I don't
Like,
know.
what?
It's weird because it's hard to tell like what DC's even trying to do with their film canon right
True.
now.
Like, does it? I mean, I'm wondering, like, does it actually change any of the plot points, or is it just here's a better movie version with the same plot points? Like,
So I don't want to spoil anyone. I mean, I hope no one's upset.
don't say
I
it.
won't
Yeah.
say who it is, but the it is a very prominent DC villain instead of Steppenwolf that
They
is going to be
switched
in this
out the
cut of the movie.
villain.
Supposedly, yes. It's a different villain now. Instead of Steppenwolf, it is a very prominent DC villain character that is extremely obvious if you know DC villain characters. But
Steppenwolf
that's
got
all
to
I'll say.
step in. Am I right?
That's all I'll
Okay,
say
so
though.
it's Condiment King. Makes sense.
Yes, of course.
uh,
Well, it's General Zod again.
General Zod 2. It's General
Yes.
Schmod.
Yeah.
I survived Krypton too. With enough people that survived Krypton, you could probably make an entirely new Krypton, to be honest. Like,
Hmm.
there's dogs that survived, and Superman, and his cousin, and his enemies, and, the robot. Yes, I did just call
Oh, the
Brainiac
robot,
the
of
robot.
course.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Hmm.
And then, oh boy, Avatar: The Last Airbender is coming to CBS All Access.
Oh, is he going to a pharmacy? That's an
Yeah, he
interesting.
got
Is this a
pentapox.
lost
He got
episode?
pentapox and he needs the medication.
Oh
Purple
man.
pentapox. No, but it's funny because like Avatar has been like really huge on Netflix for the past like month. And like, it's not a bad thing that it's coming to DBS, but like who has CBS All Access but doesn't have Netflix. Heck, even the
A
I mean,
very.
even the DVD or Blu-ray, it's only like $30. Like it's not,
Hmm.
it's a very accessible to watch show. And it's not bad that it's coming to CBS All Access, but it just kind of makes you think like, what is the point of CBS All Access?
It's for CBS exclusives, and I think they did that Star Trek show, or was that
No,
Amazon?
they
I
did the
don't
Star Trek
remember.
show.
Okay, so that's the point. It's just that those select few things, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have CBS All Access. I never planned on getting it, so this isn't going to change my mind.
Um,
But
yeah. I mean, they got Korra too, which is nice. I don't, because
mhm.
Netflix doesn't have Korra currently. It's just weird that if they plan to bring it to CBS All Access, why would they have made an agreement with Netflix like right before it?
Right,
It's
that's
not
and plus they also have the plans for the live action series on
right.
Netflix
Netflix also has
too.
the other
Like,
show by the same creators, Dragon Prince.
mhm.
Like, it's not that like, oh well, Avatar's been on Netflix for years and years, and now they're also just dropping it on. No, it's Netflix getting Avatar was like the big deal with Netflix in the past month. Like that and Space Force were like the big things that Netflix was pushing. And so it's just kind of funny to see that like on the tail end or a few weeks after all this buzz about Avatar because of Netflix, CBS is like, we have it too, you guys, come over here. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up the news section. So, do you want to move on to the main
Yeah,
discussion?
let's keep it going.
I was trying to think of another pun, but I got
Hmm.
nothing. So, anyways, Kipo and the Age of Wonderbeasts. This is a great show. I love
Yeah, okay, so again, I said at the top of the show, but just we watched the entire series, and it's a
it.
serialized show. So of course we will be talking about things that happen later on. We're not gonna explicitly try to spoil any of the huge major twists, but we're gonna be talking about the episodes. So to start off, we're gonna just kind of talk about more general things about the show and whether we recommend it, etc. And then we'll make sure everyone knows when we're going into a little more spoily area. So
Mm-hmm.
this is
Mm-hmm.
another DreamWorks show, another DreamWorks 2D animated Netflix show, like She-Ra. Also starring a female protagonist who has a transformation.
Yep.
um, but yeah, no, I completely agree with you, Shadow. I think this is an absolutely amazing show. I really, really don't have anything bad to say about it, which is
Mm-hmm.
weird.
Yeah. It's this came out in the first season came out in January of 2020 this year, and it really it hooked me immediately. Like I even made an impressions video on it, praising it all the way back then, and I absolutely adore this show. I think it's great. It feels like a breath of fresh air
Yeah.
for me, and it's my favorite 2020
Mhm.
show so far this
It, I
year,
mean,
hands
it's
down.
very night and day with She-Ra. Again, we only saw the beginning of She-Ra, but even the first episode of Kipo and the first episode of She-Ra, She-Ra is very much I guess, a show aimed a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
But Kipo is just, I don't know. I mean, tonally, it's in like the Avatar area of
Yep.
not shying away from more serious things, having really good allegories in there, strong characters with strong developed backstories and motivations, um, and serialization that doesn't feel like it just makes every episode feel like the same episode, but every episode is a unique adventure that makes progress along the main storyline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every episode has a
Yeah,
purpose. That's what I appreciate. There's no filler. Every single episode sets up something in the next
yeah, and
one.
I mean, on top of that, the art style and animation are just fantastic. I would
It's done by the same people that animated Avatar,
Makes
actually.
sense. Makes
Studio
sense.
Mir.
I would not have
Mm-hmm.
expected so much from a DreamWorks show, to be honest with you. I would have
Mm-hmm.
expected it to be a little cheaper and lazier, but like, no, it's top notch, and the colors in the show. Oh my god, the I am a sucker for good starry night like skies in
Mm-hmm.
animation. BoJack has a really fantastic one, but holy cow, does Kipo's like galaxy solar
Mm-hmm.
system star night just look like I want to have it as a background on every device I own. Like it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's gorgeous.
Oh my god.
It's gorgeous. The indigos and the purples, and what I love even more is like, that whole aesthetic. Like, it's not even just the sky, like the way the characters are
Yes.
lit during night, and like the background, everything's got like the purple indigo hue to it. It looks gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I love the show's art style. I love the coloring and everything. It's such a good show. I cannot praise it enough.
Mm-hmm. Um,
So I'm really glad I finally can let it out and talk about it now, because I've been like holding my tongue all week about this show.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I watched all of it in the span of like 3 days, and
Hmm.
it's only 20 episodes. It's not a big ask. They're 22 to 24-minute episodes. Uh,
Yep.
it's not. I don't know. It's just and then I mean, and there's digging in. There's just so much about it as well. It's a show that is just so fantastic at representation and like there's so much about the show that is black, right? That is
Hmm.
the hip hop and the vibe and just the feelings are like you wouldn't have gotten this from anyone but like a creative team that's led by someone with blackness in mind. And I don't say that to be like preachy or cringy or whatever. I say that because it's like genuinely this is why diversity and representation and making sure your writing staff isn't just like one race or whatever. Like this is why it matters because I don't know. I feel like a lot of the style of this show couldn't be done by just like anyone.
Hmm.
Um and that's not to say that the show is like preachy or cringy or anything like that. It is a top-notch action show that has a lot of deeper meanings and a lot of black culture in it. I would say as a white
Hmm.
person.
Well, I
What?
I believe the creator is actually white.
Really?
The original creator. Yeah, Radford's
See, I didn't look into it, but I don't know. The show is just oozing with that culture that I hmm.
Yeah, but no, it's definitely got a lot of representation. Not even just with
Yes.
the African American community, but also with the LGBT community. Because
Well,
one
it's
of the
hang on,
main
hang
characters is
on.
actually
I was gonna wait for that for the spoiler section, but if you want to just
okay.
drop that, then fine.
No,
I
I'll
I
hold
mean,
off. I'll hold off.
but yes, it
Fair
has all
enough.
sorts of the main character's a female, obviously. Like, there is LGBT representation. Like, there's I don't know. It's just it's kind of has everything. Um, all
Hmm.
three of the main characters are part black. Three main humans, I suppose. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know, but it just I don't know. It's so important at this time that it's like that. And again, it's a really good, really fun action show that has those elements in it. Um,
Yeah.
oh, and the creature designs, very good point, Croco Gabs. Like, uh, every creature is based on an animal or some other like living thing, like a fungus or a water bear or whatever. Like they're all based on an animal, but the way they do it is not just like here's an animal but bigger. It's like here's frogs in suits and here's jaguars with like three tails and like it's a very
Hmm.
fun fantasy approach to it.
Yeah.
um just the
Yeah.
creativity.
I love the very concept of the world, because it's like it's not your traditional like apocalyptic world where like everything's just destroyed and in ruin. This is like an apocalypse where nature is taken over
Yeah.
again. Like human society has crumbled and like, wildlife reigns supreme now. All the animals other than humans have become these things called mutes, which are basically, mutants, mutated creatures. And, again, you have all these insane characters, like, all most of them can talk. You've got pigs with four eyes
Yeah.
and six legs, and mega bunnies that are these giants, and it's so much fun. It's just great to see all like the creativity that went into coming up with the different characters. You've got these skunk motorcyclists, and oh my gosh, it's so
Yeah.
fun.
um And then on top of that, like there's some really cool things. And again, this is all in like the first episode, first or second episode. Like Dave, just the character of Dave
Hmm.
is he's like a bug mutant who goes through metamorphosis from like baby to kid to teenager to adult to really buff, super powered adult to elderly bug. But he does this in the matter of seconds, and like the over the course of the show, you think you'll get tired of that joke and that plot point, but they use it in so many different ways. There's dance scenes where he's transforming throughout all of the different forms, and it's just like absolutely bonkers. I don't know. And oh god, one of my favorite jokes is the one where he keeps losing body parts, and they keep replacing them with things like a cactus needle. Oh, it's so cool. And it's also used in more dramatic elements in the sense that like sometimes when he's needed, he'll end up turning into a baby and he's just completely useless. Sometimes they'll need him to be able to fly and be buff and just kind of do stuff, and then he'll just comedically turn into an old man.
You jinxed
it. There's a great like, it's a comedy thing, and then it like sometimes lightly affects the plot, but it's not too plot crucial. I don't know. I love it. There's some big laughs on the show too. That was one of them definitely for me. I would say that the show isn't as concerned with being funny as it is with being a really cool action show. But man, when it hits with some jokes, especially in regards to Dave, who's it's a great comic relief character done right. Sometimes the show can just be wickedly funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's got so much going for it.
Would you like to dive a little deeper now?
Yeah, I suppose we can. Does this include spoilers or no?
I mean, isn't that what the point of?
Well, like how much of spoilers? Where do you draw the line? Is more what I'm asking.
I thought. What do you want to talk about? It's up to you. What would you like to talk about? The big major like endings, or do we just want to talk about like individual episodes?
I'm fine with whatever. I just want to know what you wanted to do.
Okay, I'm fine with either way too. This is something we should have talked about before. All
right. What's your favorite episode then?
Okay, well, so just so you guys know, here we are. We're gonna go into some spoilers, but we're not gonna give away the biggest season ending spoilers. All right, we'll talk about some episodes. There were a lot of really good episodes.
My favorite is the first Water Bear episode.
That one is really good and really crazy. It's really cool that I think a lot of other shows would have done just like, here's a filler episode where the characters go into their ideal dream worlds, but this show uses the kind of what's these characters' perfect fantasies as a way to progress what's going on with their journeys. It has Wolf feel guilty about the thing that she's hiding from Kipo. It has Kipo kind of like living through what her ideal experience would be in finding her parents. And then it has a really great dance scene with Benson and Dave.
And Mondu just finds a giant cheese curl forest and goes wild. Yes. Yeah, I love that episode so much. It's so fun because, like you mentioned, it's not just, filler. Like, I appreciate how the dreams are fun and wacky and crazy, and it gives the show a little more leeway to be, more what's the word? Bombastic. But I really like the way that the characters essentially are able to realize that they're dreaming, and how it serves as a way to help them come to a realization about themselves. Like, Wolf realizes things aren't real when, her guilt overtakes her, and the water bear is incapable of preventing that. And he doesn't even, know what to do with that situation. And I also appreciate it because, like, this makes the water bear like a recurring character essentially, because he comes back, especially in season 2.
He's an important character that is used for important things.
Absolutely. So yeah, that episode is easily my favorite one. Although there's some other good ones in there.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I like the first one where they get to the Umlaut city. With the giant cactus forest and the snakes and the timber cats are still following them. There's a lot of fun stuff there. Also, I don't know if I like that they don't point out the pun that the snakes are literally laying down some sweet licks on their guitars. Uh, um, so yeah, I mean that one's a really good one. There's some really good stuff at the end of season 2 that kind of reveals some stuff, but I don't want to get into it other than the fact that the Powerpuff Girls. Anyone who knows what the second season's ending is about and what they reveal, it's just I mean, I can't not think of the Powerpuff Girls.
It's very, very similar. I'm glad you were the one to bring it up and not me. But yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
I mean, it's not ripping it off or anything. It's just there's just a funny similarity right in there. There's also I was also thinking about in season 1 when Wolf is hiding what she finds from Kipo. I was very much thinking of Bato of the Water Tribe from Avatar, because it's the same exact setup of one of the characters, one of the outsider characters doesn't want to let their friend know about their father's location because they're afraid that it'll take them away from the character, and so they make a selfish decision and then they go back on it late. Like, but I don't know. I mean, even I know describing it makes it sound like Kipo is a show like, oh, well, you've seen it before in Avatar, you've seen it before in this or that. But it's just like even storylines that aren't the most 100% original still feel authentically interesting. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, that episode is much better than Bato of the Water Tribe. Just throwing that out there. So
yeah, at this point, it's like, what even is original anymore? It's execution that matters, and Kipo executes it perfectly.
Yeah.
So, I really like that this show has a competent dad character. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Yeah, Kipo's dad is very heartwarming. He's very, very pure. Yeah. I appreciate that.
He's a great character. I guess I mean we could talk about Benson now. Just
Okay. Yeah.
Light
so
spoilers.
Benson's actually gay.
And the best thing about it
is how it's revealed.
Oh my god, it's so listen.
I didn't even see it coming. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I did not see that.
After like 20 years, right, of not in kids shows not being able to say the word gay, right? You have to have the character bring over their close friend for dinner on Thanksgiving, like, Arnold's teacher in Hey Arnold. You have to make them non-binary aliens. You have to, do all of these loopholes and workarounds. And I'm not judging any of these shows for doing it, because that's the only way that the networks would allow it for a long, long, long time. And it's just nice to be able to have a character just be like, I'm gay.
Yeah. And I did not expect it, because, you're not used to seeing that. Like, and I also really appreciate the setup too, because it's like, it's Kipo and Benson, and they're going on like this, what seems like a date at an amusement park. And then Kipo like starts to get feelings towards him, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gay. And it's like, oh.
And no one takes offense to it.
How about that? And no one takes offense to it, and it's perfectly fine. And then, it becomes a plot point for Benson's character later on when he meets this guy named Troy, which is cool. Like,
and Benson does not act in any way like a stereotypical gay.
Like a stereotype.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with people acting that way. It's just, again, because of TV shows, in order to signify that someone is gay, you usually have to play up the stereotypes, because you can't just say they're gay in kids shows. And I'm glad that we're finally to the point where you can just do that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's very refreshing. And like you say, it's not like Benson says this and it's forgotten about. I mean, it's ignored for a little while, but he's traveling with 2 girls, his best friend, like bug creature, and a pig. So obviously he's not going to have a crush in any of the main group. But basically, as soon as he meets another male human, they are like explicitly like, nope, he has a crush on him. They play love music in the background. It's like,
it goes anime for a second.
Yeah. Oh, it goes very anime for a second.
Yeah. No, I mean, I appreciate, because it's not in your face, but it's like, this is a part of this character, and it should be recognized, and I appreciate that.
And I mean, there's also a lot of nice allegory and interesting things to the show. There are these themes of changing people or changing, there are these sentient mutant creatures that are, they might not be the nicest and they might be trying to like kill humans or whatever, but they're still sentient beings. And the topic of like, well, let's just revert them back to animals comes up. And I think it does have a lot of application in regards to real world, people trying to cure autism, Butch Hartman, or other such things, or in other ways trying to make people something they're not because it's less difficult to deal with, or whatever. And that's a really good theme that's just woven into the fabric of what the show is. Another thing is, how did like servitude, like one of the characters is trying to make humans into slaves, like, and I don't think it's a coincidence that they use a lot of like very repressed Baroque imagery, you know what I mean, like very like staunchy stuck up imagery to kind of show that and it's it's such a thing that for kids it'll go over their heads. I don't but as an adult watching this, I'm like, there's some really good allegory, representational storytelling going on here. I mean, even down to the fact that Kipo is mixed race and Kipo is mixed, mutant / non-mutant. It's a little spoiler. It's not a huge one. It's all over the promotional materials. And so like, it's kind of like she's the bridge, she's trying to make everyone happy and everyone friends. Again, in some ways it's like Avatar, but it's not even just Avatar. It's a story type that goes, for forever, right? Like Steven Universe is the one to, make the gems and humans get along because he's part gem and part human. Darth Vader is the one to fix the light side and the dark side because he was on both sides at various points. Like, the Avatar is the one that represents all 4 nations, so he's the one that can bring them all together. It's, it's just like a story as old as time, and I think Kipo is another great example of that story.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I did want to actually touch on was the fact that this was actually based on a webcomic originally.
Was it a popular webcomic or an obscure one? Because I'd never heard of it.
I had never heard of it, but I actually read a little bit of it, and it's interesting to see, like, there, as with any show that gets produced, there are some changes that take place. I'm trying to find the I know I made a list on this somewhere, but I can't find it right now. But it's just interesting to see how far it came, and like, to see it really goes to show that great things can come from things like just a webcomic online can turn into something fantastic like this. And I think it serves as a great like inspirational example for people who are making things like this, like art or webcomics or whatever, because that's starting to become the starting point for animated series and programs on streaming nowadays. Is a lot of people are going to Netflix or Hulu or what have you with these ideas that they have, and the streaming platforms are much more open to it. And I say to anyone listening who might be interested in that, like, take advantage of the times we're living in. Go for it. Don't hold back. I see somebody mentioned in the chat that they wanted to make a show like this when they get older, and I say go for it. Like, work on your stuff now, because as time goes on, you will get better, and maybe one day you'll be able to pull something off like this.
Tunjay brings up a good point. We Bear Bears was also a webcomic, and according to Citrus, Kipo was a fairly well known in the webcomic community. Not nearly as huge as you would think out of all the webcomics that are looking to be TV shows. Can't wait for 5 years later, the Netflix show where Kuro has to change like Danny Phantom to Shmanny Ghost Boy or something. Shmanny Ghost Boy, and
definitely suggest that to him. I think he'll pick it up.
What? Oh gosh. I'm trying to think of like a rhyme for 10 in another country, like I don't know, Ace Diaz.
Oh my gosh. That'd be amazing.
All right. Thanks for the super chat, Thunderbeam. We will answer that in the Q&A section, which is coming up probably not too long from now. Daniel Fulton and Ken Levinson. Oh goodness, the Kipo webcomic doesn't exist anymore though. Domain expired and wasn't renewed. Interesting. So was the person
Oh,
who made the webcomic like the showrunner, or was it just an idea?
so Seacrest is the he is
Ryan?
no Radford.
Oh,
I don't know if it's pronounced Seacrest because it might be Secrest or Secret. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know how it's pronounced. But he's the original creator, and then he served as an executive producer for the show. But then there's like I don't know if there's a director listed, but there's a developer. Bill Wolkoff developed the show.
Following with Style says, yeah, they were both made by Rad Seacrest, and it is pronounced Seacrest.
Okay.
Is he
Okay.
related
Thank
to
you for
Ryan
that.
though? I need to know. Oh man.
Well,
um,
considering that Ryan Seacrest's name is spelled different, I don't think so, but maybe.
but yeah, no, I mean, I genuinely don't have a bad thing to say about Kipo. Like, the story structure is great. I mean, I don't know, like it's got great backstories, good twists. I definitely almost called a twist with the giant monkey. I was close, but not on the monkey on that one.
It's funny because my girlfriend and her sister actually watched the whole series with me because they were both into it too, and they were dead set on like this one idea.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but they were dead set on it, and I was like, no, that's not what it is. I'm telling you now, it's not that. And you know, it was revealed what the reality was, and they were like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "I told you guys because it's this," and then this turned out to be true, and I was like, "What did I tell you?" So that was a fun memory while watching it. So it's fun because the show has a lot of things that make you guess, like what happened to this character, where's this person going, what are they gonna do, like, and again, that's one of the things I have with She-Ra is right off the bat with Kipo, I was asking questions as soon as it started. And that's what that's how you get hooked, is you have to make the viewer ask questions, get them involved, and Kipo does a great job of just pulling you right in immediately. Like, it does not hold back from the instant it starts with her just coming through with this giant rush of water. It's just like, bang, this is how we're starting.
Why do we suppose this fandom's hasn't exploded when the show is as good as it is? See, that's a great question, because I feel like Kipo is the kind of show that people should obsess over and talk about, and especially with, lately everyone trying to push for more people of color being hired in animation and everything. Like, I feel like this is a great representational show. Maybe not if the creator's white, I don't know, but like, at least in terms of what it presents, it is very, very inclusive.
Yeah, no, I like, especially because a lot of shows that had big fandoms like Adventure Time and Steven Universe, those are over. It's like,
I guess I would also, sorry, not to cut you off, but I will.
Fine.
But I guess my guess would probably just be that it hasn't been out that long comparatively. Like, Steven Universe didn't have its cult following from the first season. Jailbreak was really where it took off and became a much bigger show. Same thing with Adventure Time. The first season, it was successful, but it wasn't like people weren't making tons of internet videos and discussion around it, So a lot of these shows that get huge followings, My Little Pony, right? That wasn't like a huge show from the very first episode.
No, it took until like the end of season 1 for it to really get going. And season 2 is where it exploded. So like, yeah, no, I agree. It takes time. It's just, I'm surprised there's not at least a little more buzz surrounding it.
Toonjay saying Voltron and She-Ra were huge when they first came out. They were also based on existing franchises, like not really big, but well-known franchises. Whereas Kipo, while based on a webcomic, known to people in the webcomic sphere, but like, everyone's heard of Voltron. I've never seen anything Voltron related, but I've heard of Voltron. Never seen anything She-Ra related. Yeah. Well, now I have, but I knew who She-Ra was. Like, you know what I mean? And they had that connection. Whereas, and that's probably another thing too. Kipo is, sure, it's based on a webcomic, but it's not based on another media franchise that was already hugely successful. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's my guess. I think Kipo will get there. I think the fan base will get there. There's also a lot of stuff, like, to watch right now. A lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned She-Ra, or the chat mentions She-Ra, and that just had its like last season, so a lot of attention's on that. You know, and you know, Ridley Crate says Owl House seems to have exploded right away. Owl House had a lot of momentum behind it because of the connection with Gravity Falls. There was, you know, I went to a panel on it. Like Disney did a pretty good job marketing that show. Whereas Kipo definitely has some advertisement from Netflix, but I don't think it had this amazingly big push.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know about Kipo until it was already out.
Same.
Like, if it weren't for my girlfriend just finding it on Netflix while she was working, like, I don't know if I'd even be talking about the show right now. You know, it was just something that she happened to find. She watched the first couple episodes, says, "You'll like this," and I said, "Okay," and I watched it and I loved it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just, I don't know. I feel like I really hope this show gets more of a following as time goes on, because I mean, as of right now, Netflix has not officially ordered a season 3, but it does. Season 2 ends on a cliffhanger, so it's like, it's a safe bet it's going to get a season 3.
They're 10 episode orders, you know, it's not a big...
Yeah. And with the positive reception, I don't see why they, you know, why they wouldn't.
Right. So yeah.
I would like to share a personal headcanon of mine. This is completely off topic, but I just wanted to point out that Kipo's last name is Oak. So I am convinced that this is tied to Pokemon because she is a great granddaughter of Professor Oak, and all of the mutes are actually Pokemon that mutated, and that's why they are the way they are.
You want to know something stupid? It took me until the 3rd episode to realize that mute was short for mutant. Well, okay, so originally I thought mute meant like mute as in silent, like the pig. He's a silent creature, and I thought the difference was there's like anthropomorph, you know, more human-like mutants, right? And those ones were one thing, and then the mute ones are just like freaky monsters that we don't associate with. So but yeah, no, I don't know. That's just a dumb thing. So how do you feel about Clement or Clement?
Clement.
Yeah, whatever. It's all the same.
Yeah, no, I like it.
How do you feel about Frog Prince Zuko?
Frog Prince Zuko. He's an interesting character. I actually like his turnaround because, you know, he starts out, he's this really bad dude, and then Kipo, you know, saves him and helps him, and he's like, well, maybe I'm having a change of heart, and yeah, no, I like him. I'm glad he returned in season 2, and I hope he returns again later on.
Shadow, what are your thoughts on Solar Opposite?
Oh, well, you see, I think it's kind of boring, but then like season 1, episode 7, The Wall, that like changed cinema for me. Like I can never watch anything again because like that single episode just changed my life.
To be fair, you have to have a pretty high IQ to understand Rick and Morty too. Okay. All right, but yeah, no, Kipo, nothing bad to say about it. Just a great show.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out. It's you know, the 2nd season is still fresh. It's still a topical thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend this to anyone and everyone. It's a solid show, and if you haven't seen it yet, seriously consider checking it out because like it starts out with like a kind of semi-episodic feel, but it doesn't last too long. It's very serialized, and a lot of the plot lines that come up later on are very, very interesting. They pulled me right in. So yeah, highly recommend to everyone.
I mean, I'll also say Kipo does the main character that wants to befriend everyone, even like the mean monsters thing. I think it does it a lot better than other shows. I think in part because we have Wolf, who is a character who is just like so dead set on like fighting everything. And like, you know, no, to survive, you can't make friends with these people. Like, I think Wolf makes it a lot more tolerable and interesting because that viewpoint is referenced a lot, not just, you know, on something like Steven Universe where basically the perspective is to befriend everything all the time. And the crystal gems are on board with that for most of the show. that kind of thing can get a bit annoying when every episode the character and there's the degrees that of which Kipo befriends things. Not every character gets befriended, and sometimes she just kind of reaches an agreement with some of the monsters. So
yeah, I agree. That was a complaint I had in my initial impressions video, was that Kipo just seemed like another like overwhelmingly sees the good in everyone
can't
type
fight
of
anyone.
protagonist. And yep, and it was like, oh my gosh, are we seriously doing this? But that like after the first couple episodes, that's dropped, and Kipo's like totally willing to fight if she has to. She still tries to see the good in everyone and give everyone a chance, but she's not afraid to step up and defend people when she needs to,
or imprison people that
that
need to be imprisoned.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. I'm glad it's not just another KO or Steven character.
All right, so I would say this show is a keeper.
Hey.
I think this is my favorite thing that we've done an episode on so far.
Oh yeah, me too. It's definitely one for the ages.
Hey. Wonderful.
It's a wonder.
All right.
It's quite the beast of a show.
We're going to move on to the Q&A section. So if you have any questions for us, whether it's about Kipo or basically anything else, feel free to fire them at us. We're going to start here by talking about the super chat we got from... I lost the...
It's Thunderbeam 707.
Okay. Shadow.
Yes, this one's mainly for Shadow Streak, but I'm wondering, how would either of you feel if the Rowdy Rough Boys had their own spin-off series? Well, I don't really care about the Rowdy Rough Boys that much as characters. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're not anywhere near as interesting as the girls are. I mean, to be fair, they've only been in a very small handful of episodes, but still... I don't know.
They're talking about
I don't really care.
From the original show and not the cameo boys.
Oh man. Oh, I can't wait till I talk about that in an upcoming review. But also, I released my Largo review 2 days ago, so it's out. I never have to talk about it ever again. Yay. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm kind of done with like new Powerpuff things for a good while. So like until somebody competent comes in and is actually like, you know what, I'm going to try. I don't want anything being made about Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. I don't see how how would it not just be another gender flipped reboot? Like that just doesn't put any effort into anything. And is just like, haha, we're the Powerpuff Girls, but gross. What would the joke? Would it be the same exact stuff, but instead of jokes about how cutesy they are, it's jokes about how gross they are? Like, how would it be different?
Because the thing with why it's so great with the Powerpuff Girls is because like the girls are pure and good, and they're these they're 6-year-old superheroes who beat up bad guys and whatnot. But like the Rowdy Rough Boys are villains and they commit crimes, and it's like, well, I don't know. There's not nearly as much interesting content in that premise, because that's kind of something that's everywhere. The real joy of Powerpuff Girls was the fact that it was these cutesy innocent girls beating up bad guys. That's the whole
and again
appeal.
I feel like
and
it would just be the same thing but the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So
and I just don't see being
they were never fleshed out enough to be that.
No.
They make great villains for the girls, but only because of the girls. Yeah, so, but good question. Shadow, if you had to spin off any character from the original show,
Mojo, easily.
You don't think that would get annoying? Like, I love Mojo, but I mean, I don't want to, I love Doofenshmirtz. I don't want to see a show about Doofenshmirtz. We've had way too much Doofenshmirtz in the world. He works better in a little bit smaller of doses, and I think the same might be true for Mojo.
Well, the thing that's great about Mojo is Mojo can be whatever character that, whatever they want him to be. He can be a super serious villain or a comedic, slip up. And he's very dynamic in that sense. Whereas like, because it's like, when I think about all the other characters, it's like, Princess is just a spoiled brat. That would get annoying. And that's also already the case in the reboot anyways. The Amoeba Boys, yeah, they're stupidly funny, but that only lasts for so long, and that's why they weren't used very much. I don't know how a Gangrene Gang spinoff would be done.
How about a
Fuzzy
Seducer spinoff?
Yeah, she's another one of those. It's like there's a reason she only showed up 3 times.
I mean, you're not wrong.
She's a good villain in her episodes. It's just that she wasn't used as frequently as Mojo or
how about the head sucker guy?
For a reason.
Give him a
oh yeah, brilliant. 52 episodes. Let's go.
And then reboot. You know, an extra season on Netflix.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to see a him spinoff. That would be absolutely amazing, and I would eat that up. Oh, yes. But I think if they were going to pick any character, it would be
That's
Mojo.
fair. That's completely fair. Yeah. I'm eating a donut. Don't mind me.
Okay. We did get another super chat from Ridley Crade 187. They say, "Why do you suppose so many scumbags in animation come mainly from Nickelodeon?"
I don't agree with that because, you know, you look at Chris Savino and you might say that, but Chris Savino worked for years at Cartoon Network first. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there is an awful amount of scumbags coming out of the entertainment industry. But I think it's the entertainment industry as a whole. I think it's the culture, the kind of dog eat dog nature, the high pressure, high stakes, the egos that come with a lot of people who create these shows.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Nickelodeon problem so much as it is an industry problem. So as much as I'd love to sit here and be like, well, Nickelodeon is poorly run and they like scumbag, I really don't think it's that. I think it's just,
no.
You know, you could look at Chris Savino, you can look at Skylar Page, you can look at other examples that come from Cartoon Network, or you know, Lasseter. You know, you can find examples of these anywhere. So
Julia Vickerman.
Yep. I think it's just it's a mix of it being a very high pressure industry, which leads to a lot of, you know, people with big egos that think they've made it and think that they're invincible and can do anything. I think that's kind of the issue.
Oh, I saw this comment and I wanted to point it out to you. Tunjay and I believe the other person was Blythe. They said that Solar Opposites got a season 3 announced.
Yeah, of course.
So I bet you're ecstatic about that, Pie.
People like Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty sells, so give them more Rick and Morty.
Yes, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with that for me.
Any thoughts on the upcoming show Close Enough? You'll see.
Stay tuned.
Do you like Pokemon Origins?
Yes, I did like Pokemon Origins. Have you seen that one?
I did a video on it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I must not have seen that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's like the lowest viewed video on my channel, so.
Dude, I did one on Pokemon Generations. That was my lowest viewed video on my channel.
No, I'm thinking of Generations. That's right. Origins is the 4-episode.
4-part. Yeah.
I never talked about that. I enjoyed it, but was supremely disappointed at the fact that it was all montage.
Yep. Yeah, it was just highlights. It was a highlight reel.
It's like a trailer for the games, basically. Like,
I really wish they just made that like just an anime of the original game.
Yeah,
you know, with like all the not just the highlights, but like everything. I would have loved. Yeah,
and you could probably tell it in 10 episodes. You know, you might not have a ton of time to spend on each point, but like, you know, just show us the highlights of the story. You know, the taking down Team Rocket, you know, show a few of the gym fights. You don't even need to show all of them. The Elite Four, you know, the final battle with Blue, like, just, you know, hit the highlights, but don't montage everything.
Yeah, I agree.
But it looks beautiful.
Generations, like, Origins and Generations had the same animation, and it was both. It looked amazing. I would have loved a full series like that. Oh, Epic Gamer asks, what's my favorite Sonic game? Because I got to bring up Sonic 2. My favorite Sonic game is, I really like Sonic Generations and I like Sonic Adventure 1. Those are my 2 favorites.
Super.
Super. Did you know that Sonic goes super?
There's nothing
so
super
that he's
about
Super Sonic? Oh. Have either of you seen Nintendo's retrospective on Phineas and Ferb?
Nintendo makes high
Have you
quality
seen it,
videos.
Pi? He does. I'm planning on watching his Rick and Morty one later tonight. So
That one's not as good as his other videos.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe I
This is
won't
the
watch it because you
This is
just
the
heard
first
me.
time Nick didn't
Sorry,
show up in the
Nick.
stream,
You just
so I'm just gonna. It was
Yeah.
all right. I don't know. He reviewed every episode, but he didn't really.
Sorry, Nick. You just lost a view.
No, it's great. It's great. It's great. You know what? It's okay. He didn't have as high opinion of the VAT episode as I do, but it's still all right. No, but Nick generally does make really good videos. Watch his Scooby-Doo video he recently released. That's a good one. Why do I hate Sonic? I don't hate Sonic. I just don't like any of his games or the character, and I just find it weird that everyone loves him.
Pie Guy is to Sonic as I am to Harry Potter. So, anyone who knows me and my distaste for Harry Potter would understand.
Mm-hmm. You want to look on the Discord server and answer some questions there?
Yeah,
Real
I don't
quick.
know if anyone posted, but I can check my server. Live show discussion. Here we go. Ratchet Extreme 6 asks, what was your guys' thoughts on the PS5 event? And thoughts on the Looney Tunes show from 2011? PS5 looks amazing. I am so excited. I don't know how many games it's going to have at launch, but all of the games that they did show, because I know not all of them are coming out in 2020, but the ones that they did show, like, oh my gosh, Spider-Man Miles Morales, I'm so excited for. Ratchet and Clank looks amazing. Horizon 2 looks amazing. There was that one game, I think it was like Bethesda published it, but it wasn't developed by them, where you play as this guy who's like an assassin, but like you can rewind time, and I think that one looks really cool. Yeah, there's a lot I'm looking forward to. The only disappointing thing I saw in that entire announcement was that GTA 5 is coming to PS5 because it wasn't already on 4 or 3. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Not really. I don't really care. I'll probably get it at
fair.
some point, but I'm not gonna make the mistake of getting like a PlayStation console at launch with all the bugs and the guinea pigging and the full price. You know, I'm just gonna kind of wait on it. So I don't have anything like bad to say about it. I just don't really care that much because I don't know, trying to save money and make smarter financial decisions, and I don't know. I'll probably end up getting it at some point, but I don't know. I'm just personally not like hyped for it. Definitely the Spider-Man game looks good, undoubtedly, but
that's the hardest thing for me is like I'm normally someone who waits at least 6 months before I get a console. Like the soonest I got a console was 6 months, and that was for the Switch. But the fact that like Spider-Man Miles Morales is coming out 2020, they put 2020 there, so I'm like, oh, I want that game so bad. Like that game might be enough for me to want to get the console launch. Like it's that compelling.
Just gotta be careful because like
game.
I mean I get Nintendo consoles at launch, but so maybe this is hypocritical, but I feel like those don't have as many issues usually because they're not as technically like boundary pushing. But yeah, no, I mean historically, like both the Xbox and the PlayStation, the launch version's always worse than the one that comes out like a year later. Like you are a guinea pig, and if you want to play the games right away, like that's completely fine. But it's like you got to know that going in that like this console,
you're taking
this console may not last 3 years, like or you might have to mail it away and deal with all of that nonsense, or there might be might be $100 cheaper in a year and a half. So, but yeah, no, I mean it I don't know.
And then the other question was thoughts on the Looney Tunes 2011 show, which I haven't seen, so I don't have any.
It's okay. I mean, I watched quite a bit of it. I don't know. Like, there are definitely some episodes that are like, oh, that's cool. That's a neat idea. And I'm not like vehemently against the idea of like Looney Tunes characters in sitcom form. But the more I watched of it, the more I was like, this is just kind of unremarkable. Like, if this was a show that wasn't about Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, would I care about it? No, absolutely not. There just isn't really anything in there that's fantastic. A lot of it's just kind of like, oh, that's a good episode, or oh, that's a funny bit, but nothing that really grabs me and makes me be like, man, I gotta go back and watch more of that show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
So
That's fair. Let's see. Ooh, the Rewind game is made by the Dishonored team. Okay, that's pretty
is it
cool.
rewind time?
What does Shadow think of the PS1 Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone video game? I'll never play it. Nope, I'll
But it's
never
on
play it.
PlayStation, Shadow.
Nope, I'll
What do you
never
think of the
play it.
PlayStation 5 game, Harry Potter and the no rights for trans people?
I will never play it.
Just gonna
Oh
disregard
man,
my
and the
joke there.
creator's
All
a
right.
hack. So no, you're right. The creator is a hack,
Yep,
a total
yep.
hack. So all right, let's see. Ooh, favorite Mario game?
But didn't we answer this one?
Galaxy. We might have. I don't remember.
Oh no, favorite
Galaxy
Switch
and then
game.
Odyssey.
Okay, yeah, no. I'm just gonna say Odyssey, to be honest.
Yeah. Yep.
You done did it now, Harry. Oh gosh. Yeah, no, J.K. Rowling. Harry Potter is like one of those things that's become so big that it just transcends J.K. Rowling. Like I'm not gonna disown Harry Potter. Like I don't think the text has anything like anti-trans or any of the other nonsense that she spews in it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe there are some things that you read back and you're like, ooh, that didn't age well. But I don't know. The franchise has grown so big and the fandom has grown so big that just like, who
Yeah,
cares
it's
what
more
she
than her.
says? She's so detached from everything. Like,
Mhm.
for another one from Thunderbeam 707. Thanks for the super chat. Thoughts on Enter's Nikorama series? I didn't watch any of it, but I heard some controversial, spicy opinions were coming from it.
Yeah, I heard there's some controversial stuff. I didn't really get too into any of the videos. I watched a few. I think I watched the Invader Zim one, but I don't know. I didn't watch too many of them, so I don't have that many thoughts. I don't know. I'm just kind of over the whole drama surrounding Enter. Like, I don't know. I don't care. Like, isn't that kind of old? Like, are we still doing this? Come on.
Your opinion doesn't change just because something is old news, Shadow.
I guess.
People are
I
asking
don't know.
about how you feel about his Nikorama thing, not how you feel about him as a person. I mean, like,
I know, but like a lot of people, like you mentioned, I saw people that were like getting upset over it, and I was like, I don't know. Like, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels.
well, I think the thing is, and again, I don't know a ton about it, but ultimately he tried to like review every Nick show in a span of like 30 days, and I just feel like no matter what you do, if you try to do a project that big, and he didn't like, you know, pre-make the videos, which I don't believe he did. I think he maybe did some work ahead of time, but did most of the work in that December or whenever. I think you're just gonna drop some balls, you know, like there's just gonna be facts that you get wrong. There's gonna be opinions that you just kind of have to force because you don't, you know, you didn't really give the show the proper time to talk about or whatever. And I think that's where Enter probably is tripped up, and I think that's where people are getting on him. Because yeah, I mean, his opinion is his opinion. He's allowed to have it. You're allowed to disagree with it, but like, I don't think it's cool to be like, you know, mad at him for it. But yeah, like Toonjay says, problem is he watched like 2 episodes and then would judge entire shows instead of calling them first impressions. And yeah, I agree. That's kind of messed up, and that's asking for trouble. You know, again, like when we talked about She-Ra, I tried to make it very, very clear that like we're just talking about what we saw of the show. Like it's not a grand statement about what, you know, how the show goes on to be in 5 seasons later. Like it's ridiculous to try to pull that claim. So, but yeah, no, I think that's where he gets in trouble, is just because it's like it's impossible to do that, right? Like you can't give your opinion on 30 different shows in a month's worth of work and have all of them be well researched, and you watch the entire series and you fully understand everything about them. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, so yeah, if you're upset about his opinion, I don't know what to tell you. But if you're upset because maybe he didn't do enough research or he didn't really give things a fair chance, then I think that's understandable to criticize him for.
Okay. User MC Skull asked in the Discord server, thoughts on Pokemon Isle of Armor. I'm not wasting $30 on that. It's not worth $30 to me. I'm sorry. I think it's you're paying too much for what they're giving you.
What, you don't like a DLC like 6 months after the game was released, bare bones?
No.
$60 game.
Yeah, that's and then let's pay half that amount
I'm holding
for,
your Pokemon hostage.
these. It's like, oh, great. I love how all these Pokemon are behind a paywall now.
I've been
Thanks.
playing Pokemon Conquest. It's interesting. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
And I'm gonna play Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. Checker Conroy's videos got me wanting to play Mystery Dungeon, and I'm sure the remake is better, but I'm saving my muns right now. So Red Rescue Team it is. Something I already own.
Hey, there you go.
From Ryan's Treasures, we got a super chat. Thank you very much, Ryan. Speaking of Nick, have either of you seen any episodes of the Casa Grandes? If yes, thoughts, and how do you both think it compares to Loud House? I haven't seen anything from either show. Sorry.
I haven't seen any of the Casa Grandes, so I can't compare it to the Loud House.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad that I don't have like an actual answer to that question because I feel like it would be something worthy of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, I believe so. Because it's tough to. There's a line between true representation and just like token representation for cash grabs. Remaking the Loud House just with a different race of people. If they're just gonna do it superficially, seems like an awful like cash grabby, manipulative way to try to be relevant and get like points. Without actually truly representing. But if they actually took the time to make the show different and reflective of the culture they are borrowing from, I think that could be a fine addition to Nickelodeon. Although I just, I didn't care about the base show, so.
yeah, I watched like the first 12-ish episodes of The Loud House, and I thought it was fine. Like, it was a good show. I liked the comic-y style to it, but it never pulled me in too much.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying the Casa Grandes are like a cheap representation tool or they are a developed thing. I'm saying I don't know. And that's the point. You don't get representation points if you do it real. You have a really lame, race swapped version that is in no way representative correctly. That's not true representation.
Just putting a character on screen of a certain demographic or what have you, that's not enough. Like, you don't get points for it's like, oh yeah, I'll tie it into Largo. Remember that marine biologist character?
No. I don't.
Yeah, that's exactly. Of course you don't. They throw in a marine biologist character and Bubbles goes, oh, it's Mrs. Insert name here, my favorite marine biologist. Help me. And she's like, sure, I can not. And the marine makes her sad and we never see her again. It's like, you don't get points for that. Like,
how about Bliss?
That's
how about Bliss?
Yeah,
they made a really big deal about Bliss and the fact that she was non-white, but did that inform anything about her character? Like, was there any real purpose behind that, or I'm not saying that the character can't just be black to be black, but they seem to really hype that up, and then
no, they used it as a marketing point. Like, they marketed
she wasn't
her
even
as
played by a
being
black
an
actress
African-American
in America. So
know.
what kind of representation is that? Like,
exactly. Like, it shouldn't count.
Yeah.
It's
not enough to do it. You got to do it right,
Exactly. That's why I appreciate Benson so much.
Yes. I can't not hear the name Benson without thinking about Freddie from iCarly, but
that's fair.
Oh gosh. Which video game console do you play on, and what is your favorite game on it?
The console I play the most as of late has been the PS4. My absolute favorite PS4 game. Well, I guess not counting multi-platform games, because I've played Saints Row so many times, but I play a lot on everything. I guess just Spider-Man 2018 is my favorite PlayStation 4 game. And I've actually been meaning to play through it again, because after seeing the Miles Morales trailer, I want to play the first game. So I'd say that one. And then I also play Switch, and I play the GameCube, and I turn on my Wii U on occasion, but mostly to play Wii games, not Wii U games. So
I have the Switch, a PS4, an Xbox One, 3DS, and all that. But honestly, I spend most of my time playing on Steam. And
Yeah.
I play party games usually on the Switch. I've been playing Clubhouse games a lot with the girlfriend. Um, Gotta love
Hmm.
Yahtzee. uh,
Hey.
um, but yeah. So probably Steam, honestly. Yeah, and the fact that I have all those consoles is again why I'm like not chomping at the bit to get PS5 because I'm just like I have all these
Right.
consoles and like a part of me getting them was to be like, you know what, this is an investment. I have everything now, but like in the future I'm going to wait and be smart about when I upgrade. So that's kind of why I'm a little more reserved on PS5 and whatever's coming next from Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, I have such a huge backlog of games on PS4 as it
Mm-hmm.
is. Like, I still have all 4 Uncharted games to play. I still have to play Batman Arkham Knight. I have I have so many. I got a few games off of PlayStation. Plus, like I said, The Last of Us Remastered I want to play through. I just downloaded Battlefront 2 because that's from this month. I'm in the process of finally beating Jedi Fallen Order
Ooh.
because I actually got that. Um, I got that back in I actually got that for Christmas, but I started it in February.
Hmm.
And I dropped it for a little while because Animal Crossing came out, but I've picked it back up again. I intend on finishing it. It's a solid game. It's probably the best Star Wars game I've played. So I really like Fallen Order. If you're interested, especially if you're interested in like the Clone Wars TV series, there's a lot of ties to that show in Jedi Fallen Order that's really
Hmm.
cool. So if you've seen the Clone Wars, definitely check out that game because they reference like you go to Dathomir, which is a planet that's mentioned a few times on the Clone Wars, and you get to go to Kashyyyk, and there's a lot of cool things you get
Hmm.
to do. So
Someone
the Holocron is a planet, but yeah.
Carrie 8 asks, "Have you heard of The Garden? It's a religious cartoon made by Butch and aired on Gospel Truth TV." I haven't. That's interesting.
Research time.
Yeah, that's something to look into. But yeah, no, Butch
Hmm.
has strong ties with Andrew Womack, who is a known con artist, televangelist, faith healing person, who's worth like $17 million. And yeah, Butch has very close ties to him, and he is into some crazy scams. So one of the Oaxis pitches he did was like at one of Womack's seminars and posted on Womack's. I think it's the one that we got taken down, or we didn't get taken down. The one that because we were bringing attention to it, whoever ran that channel took it down because it was making Butch look bad. So yeah, if you ever want to look into Andrew Womack, Butch has ties to him, and he seems like a rather extreme individual that believes in some crazy things about like using the media to get people to be more religious, and through Andrew Womack praying for you, he specifically can cure your illness through God, of course. Um, yeah. The thing, I was talking,
I
I
roll.
was talking about this with Monsters the other day. And when it comes to Butch Hartman, the thing that we're missing, the thing that like is really needed to quote take him down as he is challenging, from that lovely video about critique a few years ago, is the fact that he won't say anything, which means like what we need is like a Twitter quote of him saying something really like blatantly homophobic or misogynistic or just awful, that we can just take
Hmm.
and just show to everyone, and no one can be like, oh well, maybe this was taken out of context, or I don't believe you because Butch never said this, right? The problem is that right now there is certainly plenty of proof that Butch believes in nutty things like trying to cure autism and Oaxis just being a big scam and all that stuff. But you can't just like screen cap that and just show it to someone without them saying, oh, well, maybe Butch isn't actively involved in the seminar. Like it's just his wife. Maybe he's not involved. Or, you don't know that Oaxis isn't coming, or you don't know that Oaxis isn't going to be amazing. It's easy for people
Hmm.
to dismiss it and make it look like we're just trying to manufacture some sort of drama or campaign against Butch. The big problem is that Butch's strategy of not saying anything works. It's incredibly dishonest, but if he never acknowledges any of the controversy, then there's no admitting to any faults. People can still, if they want to believe Butch Hartman is a good person, they can still look at him and say, well, he's never said X, Y, or Z thing. He's never admitted to anything. We can't directly 100% pin him down to saying something awful. Therefore, your argument falls apart, and Butch Hartman is a great person. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. It would be so much easier if it was that simple, but that's not happened yet.
Yep.
So.
It's all, I mean, again, there's plenty of proof, plenty of things that he's said and done that are very, very sketchy, but um you just kind of need something really awful that we could just, post everywhere on social media and whatever. To just, again, I'm not trying to like cancel him as a person. It's just like he still has these collaborations with big people like the Odd Ones Out because he gets by on his stupid thing of, well, I created the Fairly Odd Parents. And if you don't know anything else about him, you're like, oh, cool. The creator of a cartoon wants to collaborate with me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
the thing, like you look at like John Kay or someone else, and it's like everyone knows what that guy has done. Everyone knows he's a scumbag, and no one wants to work with and for him. Like everyone knows that, he's going to continue doing whatever he does because he's still a human that exists on this planet. But at least everyone can come together and be like, yep, he's a scumbag, whatever. But yeah, so
All right. Kind of related to this topic, actually. Someone asks, "Is this is from
mm.
Blythe? Is it possible to separate the art from the artist? I've heard people are hesitant to watch Pixar movies because of John Lasseter or The Loud House because of Chris Savino. This is the way I see it. If something is like, if something is made by one individual, like this one single person made this thing, and that person is horrible, it's a little bit easier to say that, to make that distinction. But when you look at something like Pixar or something like a cartoon or any movie for that matter, to say that, to discredit a show or a movie just because the original creator is this horrible person is in my opinion, it's very unfair to all of the genuine people that put their hard work into making it. Like, is it really fair to the storyboard artists and the writers and the performers slash actors and the animators and all of those people that put this show together? Like, is it really fair to discredit their hard work just because the original creator just so happened to be a
don't
jerk?
owe a show or
Because
movie anything though. If it makes you uncomfortable to watch it because of the connection, I think that's completely reasonable.
I think it's fair. I just think it's discrediting the other people that had nothing to do with it, and it's not really fair to
My
them.
view is I think either perspective is correct. I think it's up to you to decide on each project whether you think you can separate the art from the artist or not. I would never judge someone for doing it, for separating the art from the artist and enjoying Danny Phantom or whatever, because I do it. I would never judge
Mm-hmm.
someone for just saying like, you know what, because of the connections and stuff, like I just can't watch Ren and Stimpy anymore. Like I think, yeah, no, it sucks that there's a lot of people that worked on the show elsewhere, but if it makes you uncomfortable, especially if it's related, like the Vickerman, was that her name? The 12
Yeah.
Forever.
12
That
forever. Mm-hmm.
show, with the context of the creator and the things she said, is incredibly uncomfortable to the point where I'm just not interested in seeing it because of the nature of the show
Mm-hmm.
and because of the nature of what she goes out and says. Uh,
Right.
Whereas like Danny Phantom is so far detached from Butch's politics and Butch's stuff that like I don't care. Like I'll watch it. I'll watch the first two
Mm-hmm.
seasons. I'm not like jumping at the bit to watch that or Fairly Odd Parents anymore. But if I want to watch it, I'll watch it. And yeah, I don't think it's fair to shame people. Yeah, exactly, Tunjay. I don't think it's fair to shame or demand people to watch it or shame and demand people to not watch it. If
Right.
you I mean, it's different if it's like a YouTuber, a singular person that makes
Mm-hmm.
content and is actively out there supporting awful, horrible, racist or whatever, hateful stuff. It's a little different because in
Mm-hmm.
watching that YouTube video, you are like directly supplying that person and that person only with money. So
Yeah. It's all
it's a
them.
little stickier with situations like that. But basically, in my personal view, I think you're fine doing one way or doing the other. And just for me personally, um, it depends on the subject matter. If the themes of the show are tied to what the creator has done or said in any way, it generally makes me uncomfortable and I don't want to watch. If they're not, then I don't mind. Like Clarence, right? Like they ousted Skylar Page pretty early. And I don't think the show is really. I don't think there's anything in the show reflective of his the things that
Yeah.
he's done, the harassment and everything. It's not really similar enough that I'm reminded of it when watching or bothered by it. Like, granted, I don't really like Clarence, but I'm just saying, like, that's like same thing with the Loud House. Savino was a creep, but I don't know. I guess he wasn't a creep towards children, which is what would make the difference.
Yeah, and that's what I was ultimately getting at, is like it definitely matters on the subject matter, because like the 12 Forever situation is definitely something like I'm never gonna watch that. I'm never gonna support that at all, because of the ties. But like when I think of Pixar, for example, John Lasseter, like, to me, is not Pixar.
Nah.
Pixar is more than him, and I'm not going to, and it's fine if people feel differently.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying people should feel obligated to watch a movie or not. It is ultimately down to the individual's decision. I'm just saying something to consider before just immediately jumping on the on the side where it's like, oh well, this person was horrible, I'm never going to support any of this. Like if you can make the distinction, don't let one person stop you from enjoying something if it's more than just that one person who put hard work into it. Like,
No, it's a
again,
complicated issue, and people on social media like to
exactly,
boil
it's
it
case
down
by
where, like,
case.
don't watch
People-
Roseanne because you're directly supporting her, and it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, sure, she gets paid, but what about all the other, like, if you're gonna try to pull it from the argument of like payments, what about all the other people that worked hard on it?
Exactly.
Do they not deserve that
Exactly.
payment just because you're trying to freeze out Roseanne, who's already rich as all get out? Like, I feel like that's,
Yeah, because that's the kind of the perspective I'm coming from, is there are so many people that are quick to just immediately want to shut something down or cancel it or whatever, just because this one person ruined the reputation. And it's like, but that's discrediting hundreds of, well, dozens to hundreds, depending on the scale
Toy
of the
Story, I
production.
mean,
Yeah, like if it's a major blockbuster movie or whatever, and there are hundreds of people working on those films, do all those people deserve to be discredited? No, because they all put plenty of hard work and dedication into making that movie great. Even if it didn't turn out to be a great movie, most of the time, a production of that size, people are giving an effort to make it good. So I just don't think it's fair in a lot of those cases to just immediately shut something down like that. I do think, again, as we said, the individual, like a YouTuber, it's so much easier to make that distinction. Like if a YouTuber does something horrible, or just a webcomic creator, or something on a smaller individual scale, it's easier to make that distinction. But on a grander scale, I don't know. Again, it does come down to the individual, but
all right.
I think it's important to consider when something is bigger than just one person, and that is the end of the discussion, because we've rambled.
No, that was a
long.
good
Okay.
discussion topic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Netflix in the future? Do you think they may buy some company to grow and expand? Yeah, I wouldn't be super surprised.
I'd say it's possible.
I used to think I used to be a little more down on Netflix compared to the other streaming services coming out, but honestly, they're doing just fine. They have a lot of stuff that just comes down the pipeline, and at this point, they've built up a really robust library of Netflix originals that aren't ever going to leave the service unless, aside from the ones they've acquired, like Pokemon. That I think they're going to be fine. I think that they might, if given the opportunity to buy up, like, I don't know, CBS's content, or if they were to be able to absorb something else, I think they might. But right now, I still don't really see Netflix and Disney Plus competing all that much, as they're kind of different services that serve different needs. With Disney being a lot more family friendly and focused, and Netflix being a big old content aggregator. I see Netflix and HBO Max competing, and as of right now, Netflix is kicking HBO Max's butt. It had years, of course, to do that. It has an advantage, but that doesn't change the fact that right now you could pay much less for not much less, but you can pay less for Netflix with more content. So unless you specifically want to watch something on HBO Max,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think, a lot of people were concerned about Netflix like falling because of all these other services popping up. But like the thing is Netflix still has the largest user base.
Household
it's still
name.
dominating the market. Yeah, and people already have it. People are already familiar with it and use it on the daily. there are a lot of people that are not inclined to get something new when
Mm-hmm.
they already know how something they have works.
Right.
It's like, why should I get this when I
Well, there
already
are,
have this?
and there are people
So
that don't really particularly care about what they watch as long as they have something to watch at the end of the day. So why are they going to pay more for
exactly.
another service that has less content?
Yeah, I don't see Netflix falling anytime
Yeah.
soon. Like Hulu's gonna fall before Netflix
Oh,
does.
definitely. But
So
we had another question I wanted to answer. Where is it? From Dylan Oliver. Will the next episode be about Adventure Time Distant Lands? So, we've been doing things on a pretty topical basis here at Stream Soda. And our plan going forward is that we are still going to be topical, but we are not necessarily going to be putting out a live stream like the Sunday after something comes out because we want to give people time to watch it. Now, granted,
right.
Distant Lands is a special, so it's a little easier to watch that than a full season of television. But yeah, we will definitely be talking about Distant Lands. It just might end up being a few weeks from now because we have some other stuff already planned.
hmm Yeah, I think because that's something, especially with Shira's case, where we watched like the first couple episodes, and looking back, it's like we probably should have
Yeah,
watched more to have a better grasp on it. But
we're still new at this particular format, and we're still trying to figure out what
mhm.
works best.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of shows people have asked us about that are coming out. Like Close Enough's coming soon, and so it's like we might, especially with that case, because that's a show, we want to give people enough time to
Right.
watch it. We want to have enough time to watch it, formulate more of an opinion instead of it just being like initial
And
impressions.
a lot of serialized like streaming shows are a lot of streaming shows are serialized with usually like a big twist at the end. So we
Mhm.
want to make sure that people, we want it to still be topical when we talk about it, but we want to make sure anyone who wanted to see it immediately gets a chance to see it and then can come and talk about it with us.
Yeah,
Have you seen Wander Over Yonder? It's created by Craig McCracken. That's a good question. I have not.
it's a good show, especially because it's from Craig McCracken. It's a lot more slapstick wacky compared to the more, I guess, aggressive humor that Foster's Home had, or the Powerpuff Girls had a mixture of everything. But Wander Over Yonder definitely takes the idea of it being a cartoon to heart, and Wander is definitely a cartoon character. Um, I think it's very fun. There's a lot of cool concepts that they do. There's one that actually stands out to me. I believe the episodes are, it's like, is it the day and the night or day and night or something? But it's like this looping type concept where it's like the first half is about an event that takes place during the day, and then it leads into the night, and then the night event takes place, and then it leads back into the day event, and it's just really cool to see. It definitely has a lot of interesting concepts in there. I wish it would have gotten a third season because I was in full support of that. But yeah, it's a good show. I'd recommend it. It's not something that's really like binge worthy, but just turning it on an episode here and there, and just every once in a while, I'd say yeah, check it out.
Hey Olga, if we've skipped your question because you've asked it a few times, it's usually because either we didn't see it or we just don't have a good answer to it. I don't really
Yeah,
care about being on Did You Know Gaming, so
me
that's
neither.
why we didn't answer it. But
Sorry.
yeah, don't be upset. Uh, if we could revive a series for Disney Plus, what would we choose?
Ah, hmm. Well, unfortunately, Sony has like some Spider-Man stuff going on, but spectacular Spider-Man would have been pretty cool. But that's never gonna
No.
happen, so that's out.
I, how about this is a weird
Sadly.
choice, but how about the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, a late '80s show about Winnie the Pooh, and it was a very cute, charming show, and I could definitely see them doing something fun with it. Winnie the Pooh is
Hmm.
it's a property that kids and adults love, and they haven't really done a lot with it in a while. They had the Christopher Robin movie, they had the animated movie in like 2011, which is like 9 years old
Hmm.
now. Um, might have even been 2009 to be honest with you. But
I think it was
oh, okay.
2011.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that would be a cute thing.
Hmm. Thoughts on the upcoming Cuphead show?
Ooh, so excited.
Stay tuned. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will definitely talk about that one
I hope
when it comes
Spinell
out.
has a
So,
cameo.
oh boy.
uh,
Knockout.
I didn't see the live action Christopher Robin movie. It honestly just didn't look that interesting. uh,
I remember I made a post about that back when Tumblr was a thing. I made a post on my Tumblr saying that it was really, really off-putting and uncanny how Jim Cummings' voice was coming out of that Winnie the Pooh. And people got so mad at me because they thought I was dissing Jim Cummings when I was actually dissing the design. Because people were like, that's Jim Cummings. He's voiced Winnie the Pooh since Winnie the Pooh's been a thing. And I'm like, okay, no. I'm talking about the fact that Winnie the Pooh looks so creepy and disturbing, and to hear Jim Cummings' voice come out of it is not okay. But I don't know. It was cool that Obi-Wan got to make a cameo. I'm glad Disney was crossing over some Star Wars stuff in there. But
what?
Ewan McGregor is Christopher Robin. That's the joke. Obi-Wan is Christopher
Do
Robin.
over.
No. Oh god, no.
Okay.
PTSD.
Oh man. What from Jonathan Marks Gamer says, what Cartoon Network shows do you wish would come to HBO Max? There's our Johnny Bravo, Megas XLR, Cow and Chicken. Megas XLR and Johnny Bravo are great picks, I think. I mean, Cow and Chicken is okay. It's not my favorite show, but Megas XLR was like a cult classic, and it hasn't really had a great release, so that's one that would definitely work. Johnny Bravo is kind of similar. It hasn't. I think it had some bare bones, boring DVDs that are hard to find now. So that would be another good show to be on there. And then I think Kids Next Door is a show that would really work more for would really work with streaming. You know, in all of the. It's not like a crazy serialized show, but as the show goes on, there's definitely more kind of recurring storylines in various episodes.
It does progress.
So I feel like that's a show that really fits with streaming pretty well. And it hasn't been featured on a lot of streaming things even in the past. So that would kind of be my number one pick at the moment.
Kids Next Door was going to be my answer. I mean, obviously, Ed, Edd and Eddy 2, we're still waiting on that one. But they're both supposed to be coming in the service at some point. So we'll see. No, it's been almost a month.
Yep.
Oh well. Maybe someday.
What are your favorite DreamWorks shows based on a movie? We may have answered this one.
Oh, dang it. I forgot the based on a movie part. I was just about to say Kipo.
I was gonna say, is Kipo based on what was that other movie that came out that was like Kubo and the Two Strings or something?
That was was
that Blue Sky or something?
I think that was like
right. I thought it might have been related when I was first looking at this because I didn't see that movie and I'm like, K names. They're all the same, right?
Kuro would like
Kuro and the Age of the Wonderbeasts. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen I guess I did see the what was it? The Penguins of Madagascar TV show back when it aired. It aired after one of the Kids' Choice Awards, I think, was when it premiered. I remember watching that. I didn't really like it though. So.
Not my cup of tea, and Nickelodeon aired that show a lot.
Yeah, and someone actually mentioned it in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember it. All I know is I didn't really care about it that much. So.
How do you feel about Disney wanting their shows to be 4 seasons or less with 20 episodes each season? Do they still do that? Do they still have that? I know for a long time it was 52 episodes for your sitcom or animated show on Disney, and that was it. You didn't get more unless you were hyper successful like That's So Raven or Kim Possible. All right. We're probably gonna be wrapping things up. In a little bit here. So if anyone has any more interesting questions, stuff that we can really talk about, please post them now. I'll look in the server too.
There hasn't been anything new posted in the server yet. But
did we ever talk about there's an upcoming show from Seth Rogen called Pickled or something? About a guy who fell into a pickle vat in the early 1900s and then wakes up perfectly, he was perfectly preserved, and then he wakes up in modern day. It's basically Pickle Rick, but a human.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking this up. Pickled Seth
I'm pretty
Rogen.
sure I.
Oh, it's called An American Pickle.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. What? Okay, it's based on a short story, so this might not have been his original idea. But still, how odd.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Is it animated or live action? I don't remember.
It looks like it's live action.
I'm American Pickle Human Rick. Oh man.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this is a thing now. Why? Wow.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Um,
Do you think Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo is a good series finale for the original Teen Titans?
I did a great discussion video with that
I was about to
on
say,
that with
I was about to
monsters.
say, you did
That
a
is in
video.
no way a troll post. No, I mean, I don't think it's an amazing finale, to be honest with you. It's not. It kind of touches on like Robin and Starfire, but I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really close out the show well. But it's not
Hmm.
really the series finale. Could be better.
Hmm.
So.
Ooh, favorite guilty pleasure cartoon.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm. It's not a cartoon. It's a live action show, but victorious.
Oh, goodness.
I know. Everyone's like, this show's so bad. I'm like, I don't mind it. I think it's fine.
I don't know that I have a lot of guilty pleasures, to be honest. I don't feel shame in what I watch.
I don't either. I was just saying that because everyone tells me it's trash, and I'm like,
mm.
oh, okay. I guess.
Pickle Seth. I assume the person who's been pickled is going to be played by Seth Rogen,
Yeah.
of
Probably.
course.
I didn't really look at the IMDb or
Yeah.
anything. Obligatory question. Have you heard of Stream Soda? Great podcast. Too much mention of Powerpuff. Wait, what the heck? Oh,
Who
come
said
on.
that?
Story arc in the
All right.
server. How could you? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Uh,
have you seen the Green Eggs and Ham series on Netflix? I watched the first, I think, 2 episodes, and it didn't really grip me, to be honest.
mm.
Like it looked like it was a well animated show, and I think for a younger audience, it looks like something that'd be nice. But it didn't grab me.
Yeah, I didn't have any interest in it. I mean, I heard good things, but I don't know. I never got into it.
Thanks for the super chat, John Davis. He's got a few questions. How have you
Okay.
guys been doing during this pandemic? Are your respective states still locked down? Um, well, I didn't particularly do well with the pandemic. I've lost family members to it, and starting to go a little I don't know, just existential dread about the state of the country and the world and everything is really set in. Trying to hold in there, but some days are better than others. But there are some days that it's just things are pretty locked down and it's just rough.
Hmm.
And it's tough that the virus is making an upswing because people couldn't be responsible for a short period of time, and you know, um,
Yeah, I can say that I've been doing better since I got to return back to my job. I think one of the things that really helped with me is that I wasn't trapped inside this apartment like every day, all the time. Like getting to go back to work and actually interact with people was nice. And I've still been doing a good job of like, maintaining my own hygiene, making sure I'm not infected or getting infected or infecting anybody else or anything like that. We still follow some procedures at my job, so everything's been good. And my company's been doing super well. So everything's good on that end. I know that in my state specifically, things are starting to look better. Like I know that there have been some like graphs and whatnot and maps put out recently of like states that have been seeing huge spikes, and then other states have actually been
yeah.
decreasing a little bit. My state's in the decreasing area, so thankfully things are not as bad as other parts of the country. But my state is almost fully opened. and people are still following protocol. Not everyone, but like a lot of businesses are still following these protocols and things like that. So I think things are starting to look up, at least in my area. Things could change though, you never know. But
thank you for the question, John. Thanks for the concern.
mhm.
So their cartoon related question is, do you guys have any opinions on free to watch toon sites like Kiss Cartoon? I decided long ago that I'm not interested in shaming people or I don't know. I don't have any opinion. My opinion is just, if you like something, support it when you can. That's kind of my
Yeah.
thing.
So this is an interesting topic of discussion for me because I feel this way about like game emulation too, but it's like, I think if something is easily available and it can be obtained legally with like, especially if it's something like Avatar, where it's not only available on Netflix and now CBS All Access, but you can get the physical copies as well, things like that. I think, I'm in support of like, support the people that worked on it, support its actual production, because, you're kind of harming it by not doing that. I'm not saying, it's wrong to, if you feel like, you can't afford something and you want to pirate it, that's your decision.
It's all sticky. That's why, again, I just,
yeah.
I had different opinions when I was younger, but I just right now, I just try to support, go with the more positive message of just support the original release whenever and wherever you can. That's the long and short of it.
Yeah, I'm all for that. However, I do have one thing where I'm like, there is one scenario where I'm like, piracy is okay, and that's if something is obscure and next to impossible to obtain in a way that would support the original creators. Like, for example, think of it like old games, like games that are no longer produced and no longer sold by the developer because either the developer went under or the only editions are available secondhand or whatever. If the original developer is not seeing any of the money you would spend to get the game anyway, you're not, your purchase of that game from a secondhand seller makes no difference on the original creator. And if something is really difficult to obtain, like say Mother 3, for example, I don't see it. I don't think there's anything wrong with emulating it, because you're not going to get to experience the game any other way anyways. So, I mean, if it's like not feasible to obtain, and, I don't see how that's, wrong. I mean, I get that there's the legal side is, yes, it's wrong, but I'm just saying, I don't know, if you can't obtain it any other way, then
the only thing that kind of still gets to me is that there are a lot of people, especially younger people, that don't even know that they're, pirating, or like that they're not supporting it officially. And I don't blame them. I just think it's kind of sad if people can't tell when something is like a legitimate streaming service or like is legitimately offered for free, and when something is just a free website. If it's too good to be true, it's definitely a piracy site. Again, it's, you do what you want, but it's just kind of sad that sometimes I have people being like, hey, watch it on here, it's completely free and legal, and I look at it and I'm like, this is not in any way affiliated with any of the brands associated with the thing. It's filled with ads and the video player. Like you need, if you're going to be on the internet, you need to be able to tell when something is sketchy and when something is on the up and up. And I think that scale is something that, like, people just need to be a little more aware of. But
yeah, I mean, it's really not that hard to distinguish if you like just take a second and like look at it. Because it's like, if you go on like Cartoon Network's website, for example, they have episodes of shows just free to watch. You can just go on their website, and it's like, that's totally fine.
And that's
but, if you go on
what
one
irks
of these...
me too, is that like a lot of times there would be like free episodes of Steven Universe available or whatever, but then people will go and it's like, again, it's like it costs you, if it costs you nothing to support it legally and to give one more metric to Cartoon Network to say like, hey, yeah, we should order more of this Steven Universe, and instead you just do the piracy site, maybe because it's like one click faster, or like you just don't know. Like I think that's kind of a bummer, but again, it's it's people do do what you think is right, basically.
Yeah it is what it is. People, everyone decides what they choose to do, but I'm
really
just of the mindset, support it.
Everyone decides what they choose to do. Oh, crud. I've been doing it wrong.
Well, I guess that's not always true, but I'm not gonna open that can of worms. Anyways, point is I'll support it if it's possible. If it's not, hello emulator.
All right, guys. Any last questions in here? I've never heard of Hero Elementary. Have you, Jeff?
I have not. But if it's a PBS Kids show, I don't even know what PBS Kids has nowadays. I've been so long past that age of content.
Favorite voiceover actor. I like. I can't pick a favorite voice actor, period. But I can say like my favorite, or I don't know. One of the people that just makes me smile every time I hear him in something is Patrick Warburton. Like he's just got one of those voices that you just hear it and you're like, oh, there's that lovable Kronk. Like,
yeah,
it's just
that's a good.
It's
choice.
a voice that's just made to be voice acted with.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good choice. Another one I really like is Paul Eiding. He's Grandpa Max from Ben 10.
He's so good. Yes.
Yeah, he's also the Colonel from Metal Gear Solid. So, yeah, I really like Paul Eiding. He's good.
Toonjay asks, do you think Disney Plus should release Star Wars Detours? The robot chicken-like show that had 39 episodes that were made right before Disney bought Star Wars and they never released it.
It'd be cool because it's lost media, but I don't know if Disney would do it.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I don't know. I've heard some things about how the show is apparently like really not funny. But I don't know. Unless there's a good reason, I don't see why they shouldn't. Especially now if they're struggling to find content. Would you guys love to appear on Smash Bros. LOL? John Cartwright from Game Explains what's that track and the Pizza Party podcast. I don't know what Smash Bros. LOL or what's that track is. I don't particularly care to be on the Pizza Party podcast now.
I don't know what those first two things are either, and I don't care either. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure it's a great podcast. I just don't necessarily think that I don't know. My style of presenting works with their sense of humor. So, do you have any thoughts on Wellesley? Maybe they mean Wesley Wild, who worked on Family Guy, Ted, and Dads, being the showrunner on the new Animaniacs coming this fall. I mean, look, just because someone worked on Family Guy doesn't mean that they're an unfunny hack. Like, let's just dispel that rumor right here and now. I'm saying it doesn't mean that, Shadow. Stop laughing.
No, I'm laughing because it's like, that's common sense. I know that people are quick to assume.
I mean, that him having worked on Family Guy doesn't like instill confidence in me, but I'm not like, oh boy, we're gonna get Family Guy maniacs here.
Just remember, there are people that worked on classic SpongeBob that worked on the Powerpuff reboot. Just because you worked on something bad or good in the past doesn't mean you're automatically going to be good or bad on every single thing you make after that.
The co-creator of Avatar and the co-creator of Phineas and Ferb worked on Family Guy. Interesting. We should do an experiment and have the creators of Phineas and Ferb do a remake of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the creators of Avatar remake Phineas and Ferb. Brian Kavitsko and Mike DiMartinez are gonna make Phineas and Ferb with like an action. But they have to remain the tone of their first shows. So Avatar has to now just be like an episodic, formulaic comedy show with a talking platypus bear, a non-talking platypus bear that's a secret agent. And then Phineas and Ferb need to be on a grand adventure where they can control magic and are trying to save their world. Avatar stuff falling down. Oh gosh. I mean, honestly, Phineas and Ferb did their weird Star Wars thing, so I can kind of almost imagine like Doofenshmirtz with like a fake scar over his face, being like, I'm doing this for honor, but I don't entirely understand what that means. Platypus, do you think I am honorable? Do you think it was right for Gimmelstomp to take over the entire planet? Oh. Oh man. The summer was spent in harmony until Candace failed to attack. Actually, I guess Candace would be the Zuko of the series.
Probably.
Doofenshmirtz would be. I can't say Fire Lord Ova. Doofenshmirtz, maybe he would be Iroh. Like, uh, uh,
Oh my
okay.
goodness.
All right, guys. Well, I think we've taken this as far as we can tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to
Yep.
call it.
Thank you very much. As always, the archive of the stream will be available sometime in the next few days over on the Stream Soda channel. The first link down in the description right now. If you click on it, go over there and subscribe if you want to see the stream archives. Check out speaking of streams, check out my stream of Battle for Bikini Bottom Thursday at 4 p.m. and Shadow's stream of it, TBA.
Not a
Oh,
stream,
sorry.
it's uploads. Yeah, but whatever. I think we're gonna record it on Tuesday, so the first part should be out Wednesday.
Okay. And otherwise, we will see you guys back here Sunday, 4 p.m. EST. Got a really great show next week.
Yep, I'm
Watch
excited.
Kipo. Stay safe. Bye, guy rules. Out.
Yep.